What's going on, guys? We're back with another episode of Tightline TV. I'm Falling on the Ice, and today I want to make you guys a little startup guide on going ice fishing. The reason that I wanted to do this is because ice fishing is one of those things, especially if you're from the Midwest, that you don't get to do year-round. It's not something that I believe is worth spending a ton of money on if you're not too serious about it or if you're a beginner. So I'm going to show you guys some cheap ways you can get into it, all the things you need, and basically how you can get out there and do the bare minimum but still go out there, still have a good time doing it, and still catch fish. For me personally, when I wanted to get into this, there was no one to really tell me the ins and outs of ice fishing. I kind of went into it blind, and like I said, this video is not at all on an expert level. This is just for the sole purpose that you guys are starting, you don't really know what you're doing, but you want to get out there and give it a try. And this is a good budget way to go do it and see if you like it. And from here, if you guys feel like digging a little bit deeper into it, you definitely can. But if you're like me and you don't do it too often and you just want to get by and have a good time, then this is perfect. So the first thing you actually need to do is take safety precaution. I'm not going to go into depth on it in this video, but go check out another video on YouTube on the correct ways to get on the ice safely. I know this ice is safe. I've been on it before, especially this year. I know how thick it is, and I've tested it prior to this video. Always be safe, and do not go out here and do this alone. Ice fishing is one of those things that I do not recommend just going out there and trying it yourself, because it is dangerous, it's cold, and it's just not worth it. Bring someone with you. So if you guys want to start ice fishing, the first thing that you're going to need to do is pick up some type of tool to get through the ice. This right here is called an auger. This is a small manual auger. It's pretty inexpensive. I picked this one up at a local sporting goods store for about $45, I think it was. And when it comes to augers, they come in all different shapes and sizes. You can get different diameters, and you can get them manual, you can get them electric, you can get them with a motor on them and everything. So this is just the bare minimum, and basically what this is just a giant drill bit that you're gonna use to get on the ice. I'm gonna show you guys how you put an auger to use, and yeah, I actually have my buddy over here. He's gonna demonstrate it while I film some dope B-roll, and let's get right to it. Alrighty guys, now that we got our hole drilled, obviously you're gonna need something to fish with. So, like I said, this is me trying to go at this as an inexpensive way, ways you guys can save money and just give this a try. The first way you guys can do this is, if you want, you can go with a setup like this. I picked up this rod, which cost me a total of like 20 bucks. This is what I started with. This is a Shakespeare Sigma 200 series reel. It's a great ultralight reel. It gets the job done. And then this is an ice blue ultralight rod. This thing is $11, and let me tell you, for 11 bucks, it's a kick butt rod. It's handled a ton of stuff. I actually did a video a few weeks ago in the river of catching catfish on this, and it held up just great. So if you guys don't have a ton of money to spend and you want to go the cheap route, pick up one of these. You're going to be able to get it done. Moving on up to something a little more expensive, but not much, you can get something like this. This is literally just a Cabela's ice fishing combo. These things are great. It's 50 bucks, and I think they're a really great setup. Like I said, I don't go super into depth into ice fishing. I don't like to spend a ton of money on it because we don't get to do it that often. And I'm just going out here and doing pan fishing. I'm fishing for perch, bluegills, sunfish, bass. I'm not going for any kind of crazy, lake trout or pike or anything like that. So if you guys are just trying to get out there, and have some fun, this is the perfect way to do it. So 50 bucks, you can get something decently quality. 20 bucks, it's works just as good, and it is what it is. So going into things to fish with now, I think the most universal thing you can use when it comes to ice fishing, or probably the most typical thing that people use, is an ice fishing jig. I'm gonna put a picture up like right over here, because unfortunately I don't know what I did with my ice fishing jigs. I'm gonna have to go buy some more, but here's a picture right here, and this is just kind of like a little jig that you guys can tip with just about anything. You can tip it with a worm, you can tip it with a wax worm, you can tip it with a minnow, a maggot, anything like that. It's gonna be perfect. So basically all you're gonna do is you're gonna tie that jig on, and you're just gonna drop it down, and you're gonna pop them like you would any other kind of jig. If you guys wanna get a little more fancy with it, you can go with things just like this. Basically these are just an ice fishing spoon. You guys wanna get down there and jig, you can do that too. It's just like a minnow imitation. you know, there's several different ways you can do it. And then, like I said, if you guys are on a beginner level and you don't have access to some of this stuff, you can even get away with a small micro hook and a split shot sinker. Go to your local bait shop, pick up some maggots, pick up some worms, anything like that's gonna work just fine for panfish. You guys have opportunities to get out on these big lakes like the Great Lakes and fish for walleye and pike and lake trout and stuff like that. Those guys will dig a little bit deeper and they'll use, you know, stuff this time of year that you would kind of use similar to bass fishing, you know, in your ponds and stuff. They'll use big jigs, swim bait style stuff, anything that kind of has a, you know, like a dead forge imitation, they're using this time of year. These fish are suspended, they're slow, you don't need any kind of crazy gear for doing this. And like I said, we're just getting out here, we're giving it a try, and we want to have a good time doing this. Okay guys, so now you picked out a rod, you got your hole drilled, you got some bait. All you got to do is get out there, fight the cold, and let that lure suspend, you know, all the way down to the bottom, and just, you know, jig and hope for the best. I hope you guys like this tutorial. It's nothing crazy, it's just a simple way you guys can dig a little bit into ice fishing. There's so many more expert level ways to do this. There's probably other videos on YouTube. You know, there's all kinds of indicators and fish finders you guys can use to help you find fish easier in a lake. When it comes to ice fishing, it's kind of, you know, a hide and seek game. Sometimes you guys spend a lot of time at one hole and you got to move on and move on. So there's so many different ways you can do this. This is just the bare minimum. It's how I learned, and everybody's got to start somewhere, right? So if you guys want to get out there, you know, get a little taste of it, see if you like it, because it's not for everybody, you know. So this is the perfect way I think you guys can do it, and I hope this video helps you out. Alrighty guys, that was my beginner guide to going ice fishing. I hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you don't know, we're doing a 500 subscriber giveaway. It's still open. If you guys want to know how to enter, just go to the link in my description here, and we'll catch you in the next video. We're actually going to be going ice fishing tomorrow, so we're going to see what happens. So stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching.